I wish I found some better sounds. No one's
Hello guys, welcome to History of Computing Technology. As always, I'm your host, Spencer Crume. Today we are going to be talking about one of the great icons in technology, Steve Jobs. In the early days of personal computing, there were several companies who were making computers. Companies such as HP, IBM, to name a few. In fact, it was companies such as these reluctance to see the need for a truly affordable home computer that led to the creation of Apple computers. Steve Jobs was born in San Francisco, California on February 24th, 1955. He was put up for adoption and was adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs, who would give him the name Stephen Paul Jobs. They lived in the area of California that would come to be known as Silicon Valley, in the city of Mountain View, California. As a young boy, Steve would work in the garage with his father, learning to take apart and reassemble electronic devices. It was this hobby that would shape his confidence, tenacity, and love for all things mechanical. A few years down the road, and Steve is introduced to Steve Wozniak, who would go on to become his business partner in Apple Computers. As with most high school graduates, Steve Jobs went on to college after graduation. However, this college career would be short-lived, as he dropped out after just 6 months. In 1974, he took a job as a video game developer with Atari, and that too would be short-lived. Fast forward to 1976, and a 21-year-old Steve convinces his friend Steve Wozniak to start Apple Computers with him. Woz brought with him the design of what would be the Apple I, which he had offered to his then employer, HP, 5 times, being turned down all 5 times. Together, they revolutionized the home computer industry by making the personal computer easy to use and affordable. This would continue on until the early 80s, until Jobs would leave Apple in 1985. He would go on to begin a new computer hardware and software company called Next, and a computer animation company named Pixar. Now the year is 1996, and Apple Computers has purchased Steve Jobs' company Next for $429 million. The operating system that Next is working on would eventually become the foundation for Mac OS X. A year later, and Steve is back at his post as CEO of Apple. This is where technology takes a big turn, and Apple, under the guidance of Jobs, releases the iPod, which revolutionizes the way that we consume music both at home and on the go. Next comes the iPhone, which ushers in the modern smartphone era, where we have microcomputers in each of our pockets. And finally, the iPad, which made each of us realize that we needed a tablet computer for when we wanted to get away from our family computers. The beauty of his leadership at Apple and why Steve Jobs is so important to the history of technology is that he made technology beautiful and friendly through the design and interaction that other companies did not see was necessary. Now, unfortunately, Steve Jobs died due to complications from pancreatic cancer on October 5th, 2011, at the age of 56. Since his passing, Apple has continued his passion for excellence and beautiful, friendly technology that is accessible to everyone.
We used to play pretend, wake up, you need the money. Used to play pretend, give each other different names. We would build a rocket ship and then we'd fly far away. Used to dream of outer space, but now they're laughing at the face, saying, wake up, you need to make money. Yeah.